On Authentic Ag, we learn more about Heartland Plant Innovations, a company located in Manhattan. And a couple weeks back, the Collegiate Farm Bureau chapter at Fort Hays State held their annual Ag Day. We caught up with this year's coordinator, Audrey Bailey. We also will have features from some of our state's agriculture groups. I'm Ken Rogers. This is Authentic Ag. Brought to you in part by Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Wheat Commission, leading in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online, kswheat.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future of Kansas corn. Online, kscorn.com.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
And agricultural news from agview.net. Cash rental rates for farmland are a popular topic in farm country. As farm incomes climbed earlier this decade, cash rents predictably followed suit. Well, now that farm incomes have dropped going into a sixth straight year, cash rental rates have declined. But the decline isn't as steep as many in the industry thought it would be because of those lower incomes. For the 2019 crop season, Farmers National Company saw cash rental rates make a minor move lower, but overall, the rate stayed mostly steady compared to the previous year. Farmer interest in renting land remains strong enough in most areas to continue to support those steady cash rent prices. In the Northern Plains state and other areas with lower yields, it was more challenging to establish those cash rents, in spite of continuing pressure on farm incomes and working capital. Farmers National says they had an excellent experience in collecting those rental payments on their clients' managed farms. Land rental rates usually a bit slower to go up as land values and farm incomes rise. Rents tend to be slower to decline as farm incomes drop, as they have in recent years. The Association of Equipment Manufacturers report good news for the sale of all tractors in April. They were 12% higher than they were in April of last year. So far for the year, the association says they have sold more tractors than they did in 2018. To date, the total number is 73,820, and compared to a total of 68,147 through April of 2018. Those smaller tractors had an especially good month of April. Two-wheel drives under 40 horsepower, 17% higher than last April. Those 40 to 100 horsepower tractor sales down 2% compared to last year. Sale of two-wheel drive tractors over 100 horsepower climbed 7% higher compared to last April, but the four-wheel drive tractor sales up 32%. Two-wheel drive tractors under 40 horsepower had some of the best year-to-date sales numbers compared to the last year, combining 13% from the last year's number. Four-wheel drive tractors also up 27% year-to-date compared to 2018. That's Ag News. More coming up. Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source. agview.net.
I'm Sue Schulte. I'm the Director of Communications for the Kansas Corn Growers Association and the Kansas Corn Commission. And you know, as we are going into Memorial Day weekend, really excited about all the traveling we're going to be doing through the state of Kansas. And you know, another thing to keep in mind are the biofuels that we're using in our cars today. Recognize the importance of biofuels. Governor Kelly has recently signed a proclamation declaring the week of May 26th as Kansas Biofuels Week, and so we're very excited to be working with the governor and the state of Kansas on really just letting people know how important biofuels are to our state. You know, the ethanol plants that are located across the state are producing over 500 million gallons of ethanol every year, and really adding a lot of economic impact to the small communities that they're located in rural communities across the state of Kansas. One of the other things I think is really important, there's a lot more stations now offering E15, which is a 15% ethanol fuel, which is approved for use in passenger vehicles 2001 and newer. And that fuel is available in more and more locations across the state. It's very easy to find those. You can go to our website at kscorn.com for a map that will show you all those stations that offer E15 or the higher blends of ethanol for flexible fuel vehicles as well. And also you can find it at a website called fueledbykansas.com. So both of those sites, kscorn.com, will give you a lot of great information on ethanol fuel and where to find it and how to use it in your car.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if you're held liable in any type of accident, the judgment can claim your assets? Please give me a call so we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
We're in Manhattan, and joining us now is Dusty Gallagher, who is the president and CEO of Heartland Plant Innovations. And we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what actually Heartland Plant Innovations is.
Okay, great. Thank you for the question, and thanks for having me. We are a for-profit company that's here in the Kansas Wheat Innovation Center, and we focus on advanced plant breeding services. So our customers are genuinely the wheat breeders and plant science companies in the U.S. and also to some degree globally. So our core business is that we produce double haploid technology for many of the plant breeders. Right now we're focused on wheat for that technology, but we're looking at expanding into other crops and other methods. So DHs are used by breeders. They provide a great time-saving tool for breeders as they look at crop development over a number of years. They give us seeds that are very young in their breeding program. We produce double haploids for them, and that just provides a very unique and a very consistent product for them. They have the chromosomes from only the mother plant, and so they're a very uniform. They know exactly what the genetics are in that line, and then they can take it and they can breed it and cross it with other diverse lines to get additional genetics into the program. So it's a very efficient way and time-saving way for the breeders to advance wheat lines in about half the time of a traditional 12-year breeding program.
So this was kind of grown out of just the necessity of specifically to get started the wheat industry, maybe not advancing as quick as what some had thought?
That's right. And the technology has been around since the 1940s. It's been used in a lot of other species. And so to try to advance wheat innovation, wheat research, HPI started looking at how we can provide that technology in wheat. So back in 2009 is when our company started, and that was the first thing that we did. And then we've been expanding to other services since that time.
So talk about that.
Okay, so in addition to double haploid technology, we also do some genotyping work for customers. We do some marker-assisted selection work, other plant breeding work we can do here. That has really expanded over the last few years. We do general crossing projects for customers, both public and private. We also do proprietary research. So if a particular plant science company has something specific or some proprietary traits or intellectual property that they want to advance, we can work on that here and keep that intellectual property with the customer, and we just provide the expertise in wheat and other crops.
Okay, well, I'm sure we're going to have more conversations as we go to learn more about your company. So let's tell folks, I know you have a good website. How can they kind of start and gain more information?
They can go to heartlandinnovations.com and they can take a look at who we are, what we do, the services we provide, and get accustomed to us through that website.
All right, Dusty, appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Dusty Gallagher, the CEO, President and CEO of Heartland Plant Innovations. You will recognize as you go north of the stadium, the greenhouses are some of the work that goes on there. So stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source, agview.net.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Well, joining us now is Audrey Bailey. She is a student at Fort Hays State University. We've been spending some time at Ag Day at FHSU, and you're the chair this year. How do you think it went?
I think it went pretty good. We had the weather not quite in our favor, so that kind of affected it. It was a little bit windy, kind of cloudy today, but I think it went pretty good. We still have a lot of food left, so we still have some time, but...
Okay, so tell us about why the Collegiate Farm Bureau does this, and how long you've been doing it?
Well, Collegiate Farm Bureau took it over a couple years ago, so it's kind of fresh with us, but really it's just an opportunity for us to advocate for agriculture and for students to ask questions about anything they may have. We have everything from corn and soybeans to dairy to beef, so a little bit of everything.
So what are some of the questions you get from students?
Really, you'd be surprised on the questions. Just people, basic things about where their food comes from. We have Walk and Bridle has an animal science booth, so learning about the process of digestion for cattle, so that sort of thing.
All right, so now I didn't ask you, what year are you at Fort Hays?
Well, I'm in my second year, but I'll be graduating next year. So I'm kind of a junior senior. So
you just want to get out in the real world, then you don't want to stay in school for a long time. What are you studying?
My major is ag business, but I have dual minors in organizational leadership and general communications.
So what do you want to do with that degree?
I'm hoping to go into ag sales.
Just whatever, either with pharmaceutical or just whatever?
Well, I'm leaning more towards the livestock industry.
All right, so again, you had a pretty good crowd. This has been going on now towards the end of the school year. So what else does the Collegiate Farm Bureau do here at Fort Hays State?
So every year they go to YF&R in Manhattan. There's a quiz bowl and discussion meet where they do different ag topics. We do ag in the classrooms, an opportunity to interact with elementary school kids and teach them about where their food comes from. And we host, of course, our bi-weekly meetings and that sort of thing.
So what would you say to those students out there if they go to a college that does have a Collegiate Farm Bureau? Why should they join and belong and be active?
Well, even if you're not in agriculture, the good thing about Collegiate Farm Bureau is that it's open to everyone. Our goal is to advocate for agriculture and answer those questions you may have. So whether you're wanting to advocate, get involved. If you want to learn more, get involved.
All right, Audrey, well, we appreciate your time, and thanks for all the work, and good luck. We look forward to seeing where the career takes you, so thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Audrey Bailey, student at Fort Hays State University. She was the coordinator this year for the Ag Day on the campus of Fort Hays State University. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
What if U.S. soybean oil were an industry sensation? If end users started asking for it by name? That future is here, the time is now. To meet customer demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in varieties that produce oil with increased functionality. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Make plans now to attend the National Festival of Breads in Manhattan, Kansas on June 8th. There's no better way to spend a Saturday than sampling breads, learning to bake, eating at food trucks, having fun and learning at a kids' fun zone, and watching a live Food Network style baking contest. The National Festival of Breads is all this and so much more. The festival is free to attend when you bring a non-perishable food item for the Harvesters Food Network. In addition, military appreciation gifts will be given to the first 200 military families with military ID. The festival will feature activities for kids of all ages and baking workshops for all skill levels. From face painting to making pizzas in a bag and bread shaping demonstrations to workshops with cookbook authors, there's something at the National Festival of Breads for everyone. Expert baking instructors will be on the main stage giving demonstrations on baking with yeast, braiding and fun shapes for breads, and baking with young families. The festival brings the entertainment of a live baking competition. 8 finalists from around the country are competing to find America's bread baking champions. There are 2 divisions for the 2019 competition: home bakers and food bloggers. Attendees are welcome to watch the masters at work, sampling their winning products, and take recipes home to try themselves. At the end of the day, judges will announce the champions. Title sponsors of the event are Red Star Yeast, King Arthur Flour, and the Kansas Wheat Commission. For more information and to view the complete June 8th schedule, visit nationalfestivalofbreads.com.
You don't have to be a farmer or rancher to become a Kansas Farm Bureau member. Anyone can join. As a member, you'll get discounts on things like hotels and entertainment, health and wellness services, cell phone plans, and more. You'll also strengthen the lives of your fellow Kansans and help build strong, prosperous communities through agriculture advocacy and education. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/join to learn more.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business is started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer and work with you.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
U.S. Senators Pat Roberts and Jerry Moran from Kansas are among a bipartisan group of co-sponsors of legislation aimed at reforming federal hours of service rules for livestock haulers. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association supports the Transporting Livestock Across America Safety Act as a way to ensure animal welfare, highway safety, and the well-being of livestock transport drivers. The proposed legislation only would allow hours of service and electronic logging device requirements to apply after a driver travels more than 300 air miles from the point of origin. Loading and unloading times would be exempt from hours of service driving time. The hours of service on-duty maximum hours would be extended to a minimum of 15 and a maximum of 18. Flexibility would be granted for drivers to rest at any point without counting against the hours of service time. Drivers would be allowed to complete a trip regardless of hours of service requirements if within 150 air miles of the delivery point. After delivery is complete, the legislation ensures the driver will take a break for a period that is 5 hours less than the maximum on-duty time. NCBA helped secure a delay in the implementation of electronic logging devices for livestock haulers until September 30th of 2019. However, the need for a long-term solution remains. In addition to supporting the Senate legislation, NCBA has submitted a petition to the U.S. Department of Transportation requesting changes in the hours of service rules for livestock haulers.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil, and the decision continues improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
Welcome to Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in Oakley, Kansas on I-70 at exit 76. I-70, after all, is America's Main Street, and we're right here on Main Street for you. Now that I'm an Oakley resident, I still come in almost every day, and I sit and listen to the conversations of the people around me. You know, the guys who are talking about the big elk they just bagged, or the folks who are taking their kid to college for the first time. People just traveling up and down the highway. Real people, just like you and me. And they find just what I find here, real people to serve them. There's history, there's scenery. We hope you'll stop and see us soon. Welcome to Oakley.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Good morning. I'm Derek Hermish with Paragon Ag. It has been quite a week in the grain markets. The wet weather we have experienced this planting season has verged from bothersome to frustrating to historically detrimental if you are a farmer trying to get your corn planted in the wettest areas. Corn prices started to rally 2 weeks ago on the backs of an already rainy season with an extended forecast to get worse, and worse it got. So another year brings another weather rally, but is this time different? Does this rally have staying power? Did this one jump off the page to prices we haven't seen in the last 5 years? The what-if questions jump to the front of your mind when the market rallies. What if? What if Illinois doesn't get their crop planted? What if the funds have to get out of the record short position only to turn it to a record long position? What if China decides they want to be our friend? Big questions that get the blood pumping. These questions are worth asking, but eventually you have to stop asking the questions and make a decision about what you are going to do, because you're never going to have all the answers, and once the question's answered, opportunity has come and gone in a lot of cases. It's a good idea to be informed when making marketing decisions, but being informed doesn't just mean keeping up with the news of the week. Being informed should also include a working understanding of the marketing options that are available to you. If you'd like to discuss what some of these options are, give us a call at Paragon, 888-452-8751. I'm Derek Hermish. Have a good day.
Well, thank you for joining us for Authentic Ag. If you have questions or comments, email me, kenrogers@gmail.com. Invite your friends to join you and me next week on Authentic Ag. We'll see you then.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities, and it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.